Hi, my name is Jack Rockwood, and I'm the producer for Team SMS, and this is our Sprint 5 milestone for Paint the Town Dead. Our goals for the sprint were to do some AI adjustments and getting them moving in levels as intended and combating the player as designed as well. Also adding some new combat abilities to the kit, which you'll see later in this video, such as an air grab, and preparing the enemy types for the final version of the game. Design work to finish out two full level blockouts for an eventual three that will be in the final product. One linear level that will kind of tutorialize the game, and then one arena to test players' combat skills. We also did a lot of work on encounter design, working with code to get enemies in a state that we're happy with for the final version of this game. And then we also made some tweaks to the movement system, as when we add new combat abilities, we want to make sure that we're adjusting the movement system so all of that feels synchronous. Art worked in finalizing the environmental art kits and making the levels look real pretty. UI was implemented, and most of the art is finished for that for the final game. Enemy implementation was also done with the new animations and rigs going into the game, which you should be see throughout this video. Sound worked to get adaptive music in the game, where the music changes as the combo meter goes up. Also worked to balance the general soundscape of the game and put some mixing settings into the game as well for different machines and to help with playtesting.
This sprint, we took the time to cleanly implement our enemy animations. Given the nature of the combat system and physics of enemy AI, there were many different states to consider here in order to get them feeling responsive and consistent. Per the advice of our mentors at SMS, we also added some procedural animation to give our punches some juice. This is basically code that runs after the animator that directly applies spring rotations to the bones based on your attack. Per playtest feedback, we wanted to add another unique move during combat. This is air grab, and it freezes both the player and enemy in the air, allowing the player to perform whatever next move they want. This also gives some more control over enemies that our other moves didn't already have. With more level design progress, we discovered that our old splatter scoring system needed a change. Previously, the old system automatically determined where to place a score surface for each object added to it. But since level geometry was becoming more complicated with a lot more game objects, this would not scale. The fix was to allow designers to manually place quads throughout the level to define the areas they want scored.
For AI, we introduced waypoints. This allows our AIs to navigate and patrol specified areas. We also introduced a forever chase mechanic. So if a main agent gets too far from its patrol zone, it will continuously chase the player forever.
Hey everybody, it's Paul here to talk about what design did this sprint. So first, we got more formalized enemy behavior. This sprint, we kind of actually locked in what our enemies are going to do in combat. So figuring out things like patrolling states, idle states, how the ranged enemy works, how attacks and all that are going to work, how we want enemies to handle pathing and stuff like that. We got it into the game. Big thanks to Joey there. And yeah, so that's feeling great, making our combat a lot more fluid. Then in terms of level progress, we made a lot of level progress this sprint. Jack worked on a second level for the game, which is kind of this gigantic arena with multiple levels of enemies, kind of connected by a jump pad in the center that will launch you up to the different levels. Then in terms of level 1, we got the entire game loop done there, so start to finish it's playable. So this includes things like having room-based triggers where doors will only open when you kill all the enemies in a room, that kind of thing. And another thing that I'll get into a little bit later. Then in terms of combat and movement, big thing, got the slam move done, which is meant to be like a combo ender, but also a specific move that's used in especially downward vertical movement. You'll get higher velocity when going downwards and also big damage at the end. Still missing some feedback on this one. It needs some visual effects. Haven't got any sound in for it yet, so still pending all of that to actually make it feel good. But it's in. Talking about making things feel good, we did also, this is also I guess a little bit combat, made a parry mechanic for the ranged enemies Right now they're balls. It felt like you should be able to parry them, so there you go. That gets us into miscellaneous. I built an FOV change system, a time dilation system, and we're going to work on a camera shake system. These are all parts of Juice that we're working on as we're wrapping up the project, and that's one thing that went into the parry. We've also put it on our mountain punch dash and on the slide, and we're going to continue to integrate that into the different combat moves to make the game feel a lot more fluid. And that together with more sound integration is just going to make it feel that much more immersive. That's our goal there. Then another last little miscellaneous thing we did was getting the camera fly through. We talked a lot about having a camera that just flies through the level and shows you the splatter that you did in the level at the end. And so that's the one thing that we got into the levels. That's pretty much it for design.
All right, so during this sprint for environment art, we got new edge normal trim systems implemented. The edge normal trim will be replacing all of our pre-made bevels and allow us to have a little bit more control over our world paneling of objects. The modular kit has also been further expanded, and tools have been made to handle the generation of optimization colliders instead of making a collider for every single manually placed object. The level is almost completely arted over now with the modular kits supporting any future levels. Also, this sprint added volumetric fog, and I got it configured, and it's now usable throughout the levels. And improvements were made to the concrete material, and there's also plans to add 2 supplementary materials. Character art, we got the ranged enemy completed, textured, and rigged. And the grunt is now fully set up with animations for their combat tree.
For UI, Ren worked on creating the HUD that you can see on the left of the screen here, as well as implementing that. He also made progress on the assets that will be used in the combo screen, as well as the animations for when it's finally implemented. He also began main menu gray boxing.
Yo, what's up? It's Aiden. Here's some audio progress stuff updates for everybody. The main enemy is now fully sounded. Yay! He has all the sounds on him. He attacks. He makes noises when you hit him. He flies and he makes splashes when he hits the ground. Everything's there. The music is now in the game, along with Juice for more player feedback. Like player taking damage now has a sound. We have a stinger that will play to like give this hint of like your low health, where like takes a lot of the high frequencies away, makes it kind of like this heartbeat that kind of gets you in like the action and makes you feel like, oh, I'm in danger. I added a rank up noise as well, and added some grunts for like the enemies, as I said before. Balanced and mixed the audio for a cleaner soundscape. Everything's kind of just that's a continuous process, but we're starting to get to a point where it's starting to feel really good. And what is next? We're going to be starting on the next enemy that just got finished modeling, the Ranger, and we're going to add some more juice in small parts of the game, like the UI and everything like that.
Our goals for the final sprint is Code is going to go in and do some AI behavioral tweaks. We are going to have 2 enemy types in the final version, and so there's a couple things that need to change with the behaviors between the 2, and just getting it all in a polished state for the final version of the game. They're also going to add a healing ability, where if paint will get on your gauntlets, you can kind of soak that paint up and use that to heal yourself, to kind of add a nice resource management aspect to the game. And then helping get the final game loop shored up for the final product. Design is going to finish up the levels. 2 are completely finished, and the final third one just needs some more blockout work in that arena to be completely done. And then environment art can go lay their kit over it. There's going to be some tweaking because of new combat additions. The air grab and the ground slam are relatively new additions to the game, and so we want to make sure that we're taking a look at that. And make sure it feels nice with everything that has been in the game so far. We're also just going to make sure the game loop comes together, and stringing those levels together and making it so that everything is communicated to the player properly. Art is going to do a texture pass and making sure that everything feels rich and as intended. They're going to finish all the environments on the levels and do a full UI implementation, so that will include the HUD and the main menu and all that extra stuff that you've seen throughout the game. Audio is going to continue to balance things as we add more things to levels and have more things going on. We want to make sure that we're not overwhelming the player with sound. and then adding kind of just juice throughout the game to make moves feel more impactful, and really selling the chaos and energy of the game. Thank you so much for listening. That was our Sprint 5 milestone. Thank you.